Anyone who watches my podcast, you know that I have an intense love for the people that make this industry so special. A few weeks ago, I was lucky enough to get introduced to somebody that fits that bill incredibly, Dan Murphy. Dan and his wife, Lauren, operate storage in Pennsylvania, just outside the Philadelphia metro where I make my home. They are now relying on the incredible industry we are in to help them fight a battle they never asked for. At 6 years old, they noticed their son was having a hard time standing up or walking upstairs. And that's when their local doctors suggested they make a trip to Philadelphia and a world-class children's hospital. Decker Murphy wasn't inside Children's Hospital of Philadelphia for very long before he was hooked up to monitors, undergoing a CK blood test to gauge the amount of muscle damage.
And within 48 hours, we had these blood tests back and gave us this devastating news that he has this Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy. And we went from having a healthy little 6-year-old boy to a very sick child who's going to be in a wheelchair by the time age of 12 and life expectancy in the low 20s. My wife and I couldn't get out of bed for 2 weeks. It was the most awful feeling in the world, feeling very helpless. All of a sudden you have this dream life that you're thinking you're going to live, and it just got changed in a matter of minutes.
Dan Murphy knows all about grit and determination, and he used a childhood trauma to find the strength to move on.
I lost my father when I was 5 years old to rare cancer, and just resilience and grit and determination has built my life. Between my brother and I and our mother, my wife and I started researching really hard. What's our options? We were flying across the country, looking globally what options are available to treat Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy.
Unfortunately, Decker didn't qualify for many of the existing therapies. Dan recognized his son wasn't alone. Nearly 30% of all those stricken with Duchenne's couldn't get the available treatments for fear it would kill them.
That's where Decker's Blueprint was born. It's truly the blueprint to this cure or treatment or a chronic treatment. And my son, even at 4 years old, was always excellent at drawing blueprints with me. And I have a stack of them here in my desk that I could literally build from. They're just lacking dimensions. And that's where the Decker's Blueprint came from, because it's the blueprint for his cure and treatment. And he always tells me, "Dad, I want to build homes with you. Will you help me build my house someday?" We're looking on the show to do all we can and throughout the broader storage industry to support the Murphys on their mission. They are using Decker's Blueprint to fund 2 different tracks for treatments, both of which have a proven track record. One of those will treat Duchenne's muscular dystrophy at the point that it's affecting Decker. So to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown on how this works, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy is a genetic defect in one of what they call exons. Think of them as pages in a book. There are 79 exons in the DMD gene. That's the largest gene in human beings, and it's responsible for creating an important protein to support muscle fibers. In Decker's case, his 14th exon is defective, and when it hits the 14th exon, the whole thing shuts down, and that gene never sends the signal to produce that muscle protein. And so that's why he's having the strength issues that he has. The first treatment that the Murphys are hoping to fund has worked on other kids with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy that have different exons that have been affected. So they're hoping to take that treatment, make it specific to the 14th exon, and that will help treat the roughly 15 kids around the United States that are struggling with the exact same gene defect that Decker is having. The second treatment that they're looking to fund through Decker's Blueprint will have much broader impact, and that's going to affect all of the genetic diseases that attack somebody in the way that this is doing for Decker. It's going to allow any gene that's affected like this, that sequence would then be skipped, and whatever that gene is supposed to be doing, it will be able to produce it despite the one chapter or the one page of the book that's not working properly. So really excited to get the word out for the Murphys. Such an incredible story, 2 incredible storage owners in our industry. You can go to deckersblueprint.org, and I'm going to ask you guys, if you're seeing this segment, please repost this, share this. Let's get the word out to as many people as we can. The Murphys have been incredibly lucky. They've gotten to interact with Sylvester Stallone.
George W. Bush. Of course, George W. Bush, when he was the president back in 2001, signed an original bill at the national level to help fund research for muscular dystrophy that's already helping kids with muscular dystrophy, but not this specific type that Decker is struggling with. So they've been very lucky to get support. We want to continue that as the storage industry and do all we can. So you can go to deckersblueprint.org and support the Murphy family as they look not only to save their son Decker's life, but to broadly help other kids with the same disease that he's suffering from, as well as other genetic disorders. Very excited to get introduced. And I want to give a special thank you to my friend Kevin Bledsoe for making this introduction to the Murphys and to Decker's story. This is exactly why I love doing a podcast like this, to be able to spread stories like this and hopefully get them the help they need to save Decker's life.